Hey everyone. Since my first video was my doctor consult, thought I'd do a quick introduction video since I didn't do that first. My name is Carrie. I am 32 years old. I'm a wife to my high school sweetheart. We'll be married now 9 years in May of this year. We have two beautiful sons, Noah, who is 4, and Jack, who's almost 2. We live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and that's basically like my social background. Surgery-wise background, in 2009, I had decided that I wanted to go to a seminar for a lap band and see if that was something that I would be interested in. So in January to February of 2009, I went and I saw a seminar. Had decided that that was the route that I wanted to go. I spoke to the surgeon and he was like, "Oh, what do you want? Okay, yeah, sure. We'll do whatever it is you want. And why did you want to do that?" And I had chosen the lap band as opposed to a gastric bypass because I had known that we had not had children. We had just gotten married in 2008, and that was something that we were interested in having. So I wanted it to be able to, nutrition wise, get the band unfilled and be able to nutrition wise get what I needed for if I was trying to have a baby. So in October, I believe it was the 21st of 2009, I had my lap band placed after 6 months of pre-op testing. I had to do the 6 months of a physician supervised diet. So I saw my PCP once a month for 6 months. I did a sleep study, pulmonary eval, cardiac eval, psych eval, all of the stuff that my insurance had required. So I was approved, and finally, so October 21st, I had this lap band placed. Almost from the get-go, it was like a sign I shouldn't have had it done. When I went to get my first fill, they make you wait a little bit for your first fill. So I believe it was at the end of November. He was having trouble accessing my port. If I remember correctly, he sent me home. He said, let's try it in a couple weeks. And so when I went back in December, he tried again. He actually poked around for almost an hour and finally took me under radiology to fluoroscopy, where they found that the port had flipped. So he had to take me back into surgery. They did like a conscious sedation and flipped the port over. So then I had to start all over. They couldn't fill it right away. And so once they did fill it, I believe that was in January probably of 2010. I had lost my original surgeon shortly after I had gotten it. He left, and I was then referred to a different surgeon. And by then I had lost about 40 pounds. I was at a stall and really sort of frustrated because I had gotten this surgery and I had started at 309 and I was unable to get past 270. So I was just sort of really frustrated by the time I had seen this new surgeon. That surgeon told me, he devastated me. He said that he thought I was done. He said it had been a while and that he would probably think that that was the end. So at that time, he did mention to me to get the gastric bypass. At that time, we had still not, I literally had just gotten this done. It was less than a year old. So we moved on. So in 2012, after trying for a couple years, we found out we were pregnant with our first son, Noah. So I did go to my surgeon at that time and I got all of the fluid removed and realized at that time what a miserable life the lap band really truly was. Like the feeling of stuck food in your chest and just you can still eat anything, and I know I wasn't probably following the rules, but my dietitian consult, I work at a hospital, had to be through that dietitian at the time. And she was a diabetic educator and she knew nothing about bariatric surgeries and diets. She was basically like, hey, eat right. And I was like, hey, thanks. Like, if I could do that, I wouldn't be having the surgery. So, really nutrition wise, like, there was zero education. I was given like a pamphlet from the surgeon's office, and that was the extent. So, anyway, got the fluid out. I decided at that time that I probably wasn't ever going to get it back in. So, once we had Noah in October of 2012, I decided I wasn't going to get it refilled. So then in July of 2014, we found out we were pregnant again. And this time we had a second son, Jack, who's almost 2. So in 2015, we had Jack. Shortly after I had him, it just seems like restriction was really bad. And since then, it's been about a year now. He's almost 2, but it's been about a year that food is getting stuck more often. I'm having really bad reflux, which I had just attributed to life, not the band, which apparently it is. And my port is really, really painful. It has been a couple years and it has been painful, but lately it's been really painful and I can't lay on that side. If I lay on that side, like if I do it while I'm sleeping and I wake up in the morning, it's like super, super sore. So I have contemplated getting a revision, getting it removed. I know that it's so miserable, like I can't eat almost anything of worth without it really causing me trouble. So then, in January of this year, I have a friend that went and had gastric bypass surgery, and we've been doing a lot of talking. I've put some support towards her, and she, sort of got me into the feeling that maybe I should look into getting the gastric bypass. So I went online. Sorry, I'm like really shaky. This arm is falling asleep. So I went online, started doing some research, and it turns out it's really super common to get your Lapband out these days. So I did some research on that and different things, and so I had to have all of my history faxed over to this new group, which would be my third surgeon, because now my second surgeon has also left that practice. So I figured I'll come closer to home. These surgeons are closer that my friend just had done. So I had that stuff faxed over, and that took a couple weeks for them to get and decide. Mm-hmm. They agreed that they would take me on as a patient. So on February the 7th, I went and I did my first consult with Dr. Wilcox, which is what my other video was the day I had my consult with him. And so after a few weeks of, I'm not going to get into details, but I had a lot of trouble with his office with submitting insurance stuff. So finally they submitted it, and I got approved on February the 25th. So the 27th, I got my letter in the mail saying that they would approve my removal of my Lapband, revision to gastric bypass. So Cindy from his office called me shortly after and gave me March the 24th. So that is my surgery date. Right now it's the 8th, and I'm really, really excited. I'm going to see Dr. Wilcox again on the 14th, and we're going to do all the pre-op stuff, sign consents and all that good stuff. So really, really excited. My highest weight recorded is 314, which was actually yesterday. I'm not super proud of it. I haven't been doing that great, but it was at my kidney doctor, and my scale didn't say that high. My scale actually said like 309-ish, so I'm almost back to where I was. I'm actually over what I was when I got the Lapband surgery. So I'm probably not going to do an update after Dr. Wilcox unless something comes up. But, so there. So everybody's caught up. That's my introduction. That's my history. So hopefully this will be the first of many videos where I will do some updates, because I was YouTubing. I was trying to find some YouTube videos on the Lapband revision to the gastric bypass, and there's not a whole lot out there. So I will try to catalog sort of what my journey is with this revision, and hopefully I'll be able to get down to my goal. And yeah, so have a good evening. Thanks for watching.